Get strong.
So in this episode, I popped up at a place called Aquatic Haven. Now, I've been here before. It used to go under a different name. So you can check one of my past videos. Actually, I'll maybe slap it on the screen right now. But the place has undergone some changes. I actually like the changes that they've made. It looks pretty good in here. It's a pretty big store. It actually looks and feels bigger than it was when I first visited here. And it may be just the layout. I do like the refresh, the white paint, and just the feel they're going for in here. Like I said, it's a relatively new store, so they haven't done a lot. So I'm feeling that. They got a good selection of fish. They're about an hour and 20 minutes maybe from me, which, isn't too bad of a drive. And I like that they have a tendency to, on their Facebook page, they put what they've gotten in. So I bought a few things while I was here. I did get some snails while I was here. They'll probably pop up in another video. And I bought one of the filters that you see here. Actually, I bought a couple of those filters. I like, those as opposed to the regular filters. I like them because they don't take up as much space. And you will hear me talking a little bit on this video. Look at that albino heckelai. Oh my God. I want a tank full of them, and eventually I will get a tank full of them. They had some other geophacus as well. I think those are ultrafrons or red topahos, one of the two. It's hard to tell when they're that small. Let's see if my camera skills even went to the name on the tank. That would make the most sense, right? Yeah, I think those are ultrafrons. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are ultrafrons. I might have to drive back up there and get some because I've been wanting some. They had some good looking plecos in here. They had a lot of different plecos, which I really like. And plecos are some expensive behind fish for some of the more exotic plecos. They did have a nice array of angels. Koi angels are always a good thing. I love the koi angels. I even thought about trying to breed them, but I don't know if I want to try to do any breeding. If breeding happens in my tanks, great, but it's not something I'm just looking to do. Only thing I bought to breed recently was some koi, green phantoms. Look at that. So they had some nice stuff, and I do love that all the tanks were decorated. They don't really have too many bare tanks. All the tanks have a little bit of greenery in them. Here they got some discus. What fish store isn't hitting if it don't have discus, right? Let's see here. I've really been debating on this discus thing. I don't know if I want to do it or not. What else we got? He had a nice selection of parrots. He's got parrots all over the place. He's got some silver dollars that I thought about getting. I thought they were a little pricey, but I don't know what his cost is. $30 for a silver dollar seems like a lot to me, but I'm also an older gentleman in my 50s, and I remember when I could get silver dollars for $7 or $8, and sometimes it's hard for me to strip away. Now these parrots, I do want some parrots, true parrots. That's what these are. I do want some. These two did not have the most color, but he did explain to me that right now the color, and I know with fish they funny, sometimes the colors are excellent and other times they're not, but I think he did say something about he's looking to try to breed those two parrots, so they are not up for sale. But I can't wait till he has some fry. But he did say he might be getting some parrots in, so that's cool. The owner of the store was really cool as well. He didn't mind me filming. I asked him. He immediately said, yeah, go right ahead. We had some conversation about different fish. We talked a little bit about the previous store. He didn't bash the owner at all because he bought the store from the owner. Owner just went a different direction. He got out of fish. Even this little goldfish tank, even though it's bare bottom, looks good. Goldfish are fun. That was the owner there. I like this little area over here where they can let you kind of do your own landscaping. You know, you can, before you buy something, you can kind of set it up, see how it's going to look in your tank. I think every store should have this. I've seen it in stores in my travels, but I think every store should have it. I don't know why more stores don't, but it's cool to be able to do some skate practicing and then decide on what pieces you're going to buy. I think it's a great way to sell pieces, because trying to use your imagination can sometimes just get in the way, and you don't really get to see how things connect with one another. So I really enjoy them having this scaping area where you can practice your scaping. I mean, that in itself made me like the store even more. As you can see, they don't have, it's not packed right now. The store's not packed. I'm not sure if they are busy or if they're not busy. I'm hoping that they do get busier. I do plan on posting this video in my local fish group, just in case people haven't been out there. It used to be called Get Schooled Aquatics, you know, just in case I forgot to put the name up when I mentioned it earlier. And you can see my video on them on my page if you go back and look, and you'll see the differences. Now, one thing Get Schooled Aquatics did have is they had a huge monster fish pond, and which was like, wow, which was cool, you know, because it really gave you a look at how big some of these fish get. But I do appreciate his variety. He does have a lot of variety in here. We got some Oscars. We got some knife fish here. Oh, good looking tanks. And on this video, I didn't do a whole lot of editing. You know, it's just really a raw dog walkthrough, taking a look at what they have and what they don't have, and just really giving you a feel what it's like when I go to the fish store. That's why I kind of go by myself. I don't drag my wife with me. You know, I don't want her to get stuck. I go in here and I see how she feels now when she's in a regular store. You know, you just really are looking and seeing what grabs your interest. If you go too fast, you'll miss something, you know. The mystery snails. You know, he's got a nice little sitting area right here. This is a 180-gallon tank he's got here. I even like the stand he's built. It's really nice. And I love that it's a Planet tank. You know, often when you walk into fish stores and you don't get to see what a good Planet tank looks like, you can't appreciate it. You know, my wife really likes Planet tanks. I like Planet tanks. Right now, I'm kind of leaning in that direction. I want to get a little bit away from some of the monsters. I do like big fish, though. And most of that is because a lot of my tanks are often sitting in the distance, and I want to be able to see the fish. Now, he's got this set up in a nice way where you're not far from the fish, and you can really see the rainbows that he's got in there. He's got a large assortment of fish in here, which is really cool. You know, this tank looks really nice. I like, he's got the lights, the Kessel, I don't know if those Kessel lights or what, hanging above. They definitely got the shimmer like they are. And this tank is obviously he's got a sump on it. And over here, he's got a little pond set up, you know, which is cool. He's got some goldfish in there. He did mention something about some koi, so I think there may be some small koi in there along with the goldfish, but you know, he's got a lot of nice fish. You know, over here we got some more fish. We got some parrot hybrids over here, and a lot of people don't like parrots. I have not had the pleasure of getting any parrots. He's got a nice little beta rack that he's put together over here, and he's still steadily, you know, he's still working on getting the store together. But the store does look nice. He's got a nice array of eels, and anybody that watches my channel know I love eels. He's got some pretty good looking eels in here. Matter of fact, I think he's got some other eels that are larger, but I can't remember. I shot this video a few weeks ago, and I'm just getting to editing it. You know, I've been a little busy, but I'm trying to catch up on some of the footage that I have. You got some Amazon sword plants in here, some eels. There's a couple of different eels in here. I was trying to get some of them on film, but got some black skirt tetras, and these are some good sized black skirt tetras too. Often when you see tetras, they small, but he's got some good sized tetras that you could put in with some larger fish right away, which I appreciate. I appreciate when there are some good sized tetras, because often they're just too small. You got to set up a whole tank just for tetras. And he's got some viejas over here. I got two viejas right now. I love the Cincillums. I think they are I think viejas period are probably some of the best looking cichlids you can get. Now they carry a little bit of not a little bit, they carry a lot of aggression, but they are some stunning fish when they get bigger. If you want something that is not African cichlids, definitely set yourself up a vieja tank with a couple of different types of vieja in there, and you can't go wrong. Only problem is viejas do get big. We're not talking about 6-inch fish here. We're talking 10+ inch fish. So if you're gonna get some viejas, you're gonna need a good sized tank. Looks like he's got some Texas cichlids in here. And he's got them, like, all his fish, he's got like right at that right size where they're all, gaining a little color, which makes them attractive. So he's got them at the right size, which I appreciate. I think that's a Starry Night cichlid, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Starry Night, Green Terrace. I think those are some Warus right there. And Warus, you know what? I like Warus because they get big and they're peaceful, but they're not the most colorful fish in the world. Some people love them. Some people absolutely love them. I mean, what was it? King of DIY used to be Waru Joey or something like that. He really loves them. I like them, and I've seen them. And to be such a bland fish, they can be relatively expensive. But I'm thinking of getting some because, like I said, I want a planet tank. And of course, you might as well call me Severum Dave because I love Severums. They just love plants too much, and a planet tank, man, let me tell you, it just really cuts down on the water changes, and it gives you good quality water. It's just, they're a natural filter. They just really help the ecosystem. But Severums are some plant eating. If I had a beep here, I'd put it because I would say something. And of course, we've got OBs, some peacock, some giraffe African cichlids. I like African cichlids. I'm just so tired of them. And I know some people are just getting into the hobby, so they love African cichlids. I've had African cichlids. I've had Mbunas. I've had haps. It's just not in my wheelhouse anymore. I just think they are too rambunctious. You really do have to overstock the tank. Overstocking helps with all types of fish, to tell you the truth, because it cuts down on aggression. But now I do like Ferentosas. Now I do love me a Ferentosa. Well, that's it for this episode. I can't wait to go back and do a more in-depth walkthrough. Peace out, y'all.